So we are thinking, preparing, and ensuring that Jamaica is as ready as we can be.
Preparing for impact from Tropical Storm Melissa. You just heard from Jamaica's Minister of Labor and Social Security. Thanks for watching Weather Command. It's the final hour here. I'm Stephen Morgan.
And I'm Britta Merwin in for Marissa Torres. Thanks for staying with us. It is Thursday, October 23rd.
And we did just get the latest advisory in from the National Hurricane Center. And as we had noted, Tropical Storm Melissa, a little weaker, but don't be fooled by that, as while Shear has won out for now, maybe winning this battle, overall going to lose the war.
Yes. And restructuring is visually happening, but also marked by the discussion from the National Hurricane Center. So let's bring in the expert, right? Get down to the nitty-gritty of what just dropped in the 11 a.m. advisory. Bryan Norcross, our Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist. Good to see you, Bryan. So let's dive into it, the details that we just got in.
Okay, so this top line kind of thing that we all notice, that the winds are down to 45 miles per hour, is nothing really to look at. As a matter of fact, they've probably been down to 40 or 45 miles per hour for a while, but the Hurricane Center doesn't like to go up and down with each advisory. And as a storm is forming in a hostile environment like it's been in, that's very common. Doesn't say anything really about the future, because it is really a healthy tropical storm overall. And what we see different today, if you remember yesterday, there was a big cluster of thunderstorms just to the east of where the Hurricane Center was putting the actual center of circulation. Now we see thunderstorms kind of at the south side and the north side around the center. Yes, we still have things going on out here in what may turn out to be an outer band, and a significant outer band. But the fact that we have them around the center is an indication that the hostile environment is letting up some, and the indications that the forecast for intensification and organization are probably going to indeed happen. Let's look at it close up here. The other thing we see when we look at the analysis from the computer models, and the hurricane hunters show the same thing, it's kind of an elongated center. So where exactly the center is when it's kind of stretched out like that, and where it's going to end up, and therefore exactly what do you track to make a forecast, is still a bit of an open question. So the thinking is maybe the center is going to move a little farther north up here compared to what we have been tracking over the last little bit of time here. And I'm going to probably need some help from who's ever in Weather Command there, because my computer just stopped on me here, and I don't have access to it at the moment. If you guys could kick it in some way. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop it and restart it and see what I can do here to make it get going again. Sometimes this happens. Obviously, I can see it on TV, so okay, it seems to be working now. So let's just continue on. All right, so anyway, the bottom line is that the center is elongated, and so exactly where it's going to form, that puts some question marks in the forecast. So we'll see going forward. Now, the other thing to note is the size of the wind. So you look at the satellite picture and you get misled by how big the system is at this point. The Hurricane Center estimates where the tropical storm force winds are, and it's only right there. So they're still well offshore. Jamaica has time, because it's a very slow moving system, as you saw, only moving a couple miles an hour here. But it's drifting to the north, with the question mark of exactly where the center is, drifting generally kind of northerly, and then forecast to go that way. So unfortunately, in this new forecast, this is not good at all for Bermuda, for Jamaica. Now, let's talk about the moisture first, and then we'll talk about the exact track and where the winds might go. So here you can see the moisture feed where the dark green is, coming up around the system, of course, and the strongest winds are over on this east and north side of the system, that to drive that moisture, already driving it toward Jamaica, also toward this southern coast here in Haiti, and especially in Haiti and to some degree in the Dominican Republic. And notice that Puerto Rico here is also in that moisture flow. So we're just going to keep that in mind, because as this system drifts in this general area, that's not going to change. So let's go forward now with the European model toward the weekend and watch the moisture just continue coming from the east and the southeast into Jamaica, also into Haiti and the DR, and less so, of course, into Puerto Rico farther away, also into Cuba, and also these are the Cayman Islands over here, so also going to be on the edge of things. But notice how little it's moved in the model. This is Sunday now, and about this time we're starting to see a significant circulation developing there. So the thinking is that with the very warm water in the Caribbean and the idea that the moisture is wrapping around here tells us that the environment is conducive to organization development, that this could really be a strong storm by this time, not too far from Jamaica. And of course, the strongest winds are going to be on this side right here. So this could be an extended period of really serious conditions over Jamaica here if this plays out like this, because it's going to start on Sunday and then watch as we go Monday into Tuesday, and then you notice it kind of begins a move to the north about Tuesday. I mean, this is all going to be plus or minus a bit, but if it really does make a turn like this around Jamaica, then the worst side of this is going to be affecting that island for an extended period of time. So it's, I mean, this has the potential to be really a catastrophic situation. All right, here's the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. You see representative of what we saw in that model there. The idea is tomorrow it begins some strengthening as the atmospheric conditions, just generally the hostile conditions, let up, and then strengthening to a hurricane Saturday, stronger by Saturday evening, Category 3 by Sunday as it gets to be the vicinity of Jamaica. So the super impacts there on the island look to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. There's the Hurricane Center forecast. If that center line that we put there on the cone, which we don't normally put, but because the cone is so smushed, it's the only way you can kind of make sense of the forecast. If that really ends up being what happens, I mean, this has the potential of being just absolutely catastrophic over the island, because the worst of this storm could go right over the island. Obviously, it's a little plus or minus. The Hurricane Center forecast is not exactly like the models, but very, very close. And here, forecasting a Category 4, could it be a Category 5? Yes, it could. Could be very strong for. Could be just really horrendous here. Sunday, at least through Tuesday, and then the indications are that it moves north. We have much more consensus today that something like that's going to happen. You can see things bunched up here initially and then starting to move over here to the west, mostly south of Jamaica, looking at the consensus. This is the Google the DeepMind AI model, and then turning north. The exact timing is not certain, but we look at the consensus of all this to get an idea of what we think the forecast likely is. That's what the Hurricane Center does. There you see, looking at the red, that's the European. Looking at the yellow, that's the GFS. The GFS is a little more over this way, as it has persistently been, but the European and the Google model are all a little farther west, but everything really indicates near Jamaica and then turning north. Cuba, southeastern Bahamas, all going to have to watch it, and Haiti, Dominican Republic on the wet side, fringe effects, and Puerto Rico also fringe effects here in the Cayman Islands. All right, let's take a look at these consensus lines. Now, this consensus is the European, the GFS, and some other traditional models. So this is the consensus that we looked at up until this year. You see coming up near Jamaica and then off through eastern Cuba. So here we are, Sunday to Tuesday in this area here. If we look at the Google consensus, it's a little harder left, but again, right over Jamaica or very near Jamaica. Again, same timetable, Sunday into Tuesday. It's just super effects from the storm over the island of Jamaica, and then Wednesday moving out and then gone on up to the north. So there's the rainfall as far as we have it right now. You see affecting the southern coast of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but a little more so in Haiti. Puerto Rico on the fringes here, maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain there. Jamaica, of course, look at the rain amounts. When you get into the purples here, you're up into the feet range up in here on parts of Jamaica, the southern Tiburon Peninsula there in Haiti, maybe up into Cuba. Tremendous rainfall on top of the spectacular windstorm that unfortunately we may get on Jamaica, just depending on that track. Just a little bit of difference. What's going on in the steering? Here's the dip in the jet stream that's just nudging it north right now. There's the model over top of this is the National Hurricane symbol, National Hurricane Center symbol over top of the model. Watch as we go forward in time. They separate a little bit because there is some uncertainty. I don't think, Stephen, this has to do so much with the island, the mountains, as it just has to do with the different steering, slightly different steering in the various models. But in any case, there's the system on Tuesday near Jamaica. Category 4-ish, could be a 5, could be a 3, but forecasting a 4 at this point. Tuesday, horrible situation for Jamaica if that really plays out that way, and that's the consensus. And then Wednesday, the Hurricane Center just forecasts until Tuesday, so that stays there. Here we are Wednesday over eastern Cuba in the European model, and then it jets on off to the northeast, and that will be that. And that should be it. But unfortunately, based on what we know now, I mean, full preparations and thinking about what they're going to do with people because of the torrential rain and the potential for these extreme winds. And the winds, of course, get accelerated by the mountains. So near the mountains, the winds can be worse. So this is, from everything we know, unfortunately, a terrible scenario for Jamaica, parts of Haiti, fringe effects there elsewhere. Guys?